we'll start off with questions for Coach Earl. Donna.
Hey, Brian, how are you? I hope you're well. I got a quick question. So nobody has seen Jimmy play since last year, and I know he's been working out with your guys, and I'm wondering if you have seen him play, and tell us a little bit about how his game has developed since last time we saw him play.
Yeah, I've seen him work out a little bit, and he's able to come into. Our seniors have done a good job helping the guys who are taking over, give them a look for what Division I players will be. And so Jimmy, I think every year here you've seen that he's gotten bigger, stronger. He's become more consistent with his shot. And occasionally I have to tell him to take it easy on our guys because as many of our opponents know, he's a very, he doesn't fit into the box that you think he's going to fit into. He's extremely fast, and he's only gotten faster over the last couple of years. So he's a tough guard, and he's helped us a lot. And he's sort of just gotten better in every area, including more consistent with his three-point shot.
Hey, Nico, why don't you ask your question? I'm getting Mark set up with his recording.
Yeah, no problem at all. Coach, appreciate the time. How do you balance, obviously it's so difficult for your school not being able to play this past season. How does that emotion and difficulty balance with how thrilled you must be, obviously, for Jimmy and everybody else that has been able to find opportunities and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, we went through it all together, and we tried to sort of manage all of their expectations. And there was a lot of unknowns as to how each player in the program is going to handle the potential for a canceled season. And so, you know, we sort of took it day by day and not, you know, not be crushed by any specific decision that may have come. But we talked about it a lot. We knew that it was on the table, and we had options for the guys to you know, do what they thought was best with their careers and their Cornell career. As far as Jimmy, it was just a similar conversation, you know, and we're excited for him. I mean, obviously, over the years, as he's gotten better, Syracuse has always been on the map as a place that he might end up. But I think it's been great. He could have been and was recruited at other places, but you know, I'm happy that he's made a decision, and it's taken a lot of, as we all know, the stress is out of life. This is a stress that sometimes, as much as it's great to celebrate, it's also you'd like to move it off your plate a little bit. And so I think I'm happy if he's happy to move that off.
Mark, you got a question?
Yes, I do. Hey, Brian, how have you just mentioned Jimmy's gotten better. As he's gotten better, Syracuse became a possibility. How have you seen him improve from the day he got there to where he is now that he can play at a high major?
Yeah, I think he's improved in every aspect of the game, and I think what helped him so much, and what we use a lot, is versatility. And so at his size, you know, I knew Jimmy probably almost 5 or 6 years ago when I was at Princeton recruiting, and he was sort of skinny and you could see flashes, but it didn't show up all the time. And he took a prep year, and then eventually came to Cornell, and he sort of got a little bigger. He's grown a couple inches since I first saw him, and just there's a work ethic there that when you put anything in front of him, from academics to athletics, he attacks it. So it's been in the weight room, it's been on the court with individual development. And with someone like him who's so versatile, you just see it across the board, where he gets bigger and stronger at a rate for a person who works as hard as he does. He's ball handling, his passing, his shooting, just across the board, where you're not boxing him into a specific skill set. So it's just, you've seen a pretty good player that I saw, you know, like I said, 6 years ago, probably, to just a souped up version of that all around player.
Is it going to be weird for you to coach against him next year?
I'm sure it will be, but you know, it'll be one night. The rest of the time, I'll be cheering for those guys. So you know, I'm sure there's been a lot of weird moments with Syracuse. I'll say that. His freshman year, he started the first game because we didn't have anybody over 6'3" in the starting lineup. And you were good too, Jim. But yeah, so it'll be another one of those moments where, for a couple minutes, it'll be strange, but interesting.
Thanks,
I've
Brian.
got Mario and then Steven, and then we're going to let Coach Earl go so you can get back to practice.
Coach, you touched on it a little bit, but what were those conversations that you had with Jimmy along this process? And did you have any with Coach Boeheim as well as this process was unfolding?
Yeah, it was all the conversations are nuanced with each player that we have. And so we have 4 seniors and they're all going to grad transfer. And there's just so many complications that go into whether we could keep them, the amount of pain they would have to go through to come back for their 5th year here. And so we didn't, I made it clear that that Jim, we would want to have him back, and he knew that. And but I also am a realist, and it would have taken a lot of work in a lot of different areas for us to retain him. And so we have a pretty good relationship, as I think I do with most of my guys. And so we just kept track of each other and where we are with everything, what he was thinking, and just tried to sort of help him out in this year that was so difficult on some of on the Ivy League athletes. And as far as Coach Boeheim, I've talked to him from time to time. Mostly it was on other sort of basketball coaches related things. And then we talk a little bit about where we thought the Ivy League season was going, but nothing too specifically about Jimmy, just more, what do you think is going to happen? What are your seniors going to do, et cetera. So nothing in depth between the two of us.
Steven, you're up.
Hey, Brian, I wanted to ask, how you thought Jimmy's game would kind of translate to the ACC. Like, what about what he does well do you think is kind of ready for that caliber of play? And is there an area that you think maybe is a little more challenging and something that he'll have to work on a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be really interested in how he does. It's, I think a lot of what people underestimate him, and like I said, they're shocked by his speed and his skill when you actually play him. And and he also, in our offense, had the green light to shoot the 3 whenever he wanted to. So he's a jack of all trades, and I think he's done it against very good players. Obviously, as you move up the ranks, the athleticism increases, but he's put work in against those guys. I'm sure he's at Syracuse working out with those guys all the time, and I think he holds his own. So defensively, I'll be even more interested to see, that zone. Once a year we go up there and you try to prepare your team for that, and it's just built to sort of scare people. And you see the success that Syracuse has in the NCAA tournament every year because it's such a unique thing. And so I think he'll do as well as can be expected, and coach will figure out a way to use him and all the other guys in that zone. And I think he'll have it'll be interesting to see. I mean, defensively, for us, we played a lot of man-to-man. It maybe wasn't his strength to try to guard a 3, but that might be useful in the 2-3, and they'll figure that out. So you can see, I'm wondering what it's going to look like. Will he be at the top of that thing? Will he be as a forward, or what it may be? So I'm as interested as anybody, but I don't doubt at all that he can be on the court in that league.
Yeah, appreciate it.
All right, Coach, I appreciate your time.
All right, thanks, guys.
All right, we're going to move over to Jimmy. Questions for Jimmy? I see some hands going up already. Let's start with Mario.
Jimmy, I know it was a long, extended process for you this whole year, but what has the last 24 hours been like for you? And now that you're coming home, what was that initial conversation like with Dad when you said, I finally want to come here?
Yeah, I mean, it was really special. Just seeing he tried to contain it a little bit, but could easily tell how excited he was. And my mom's in the background screaming, crying, whatever. But yeah, I mean, it was just really special. Can't help but smile. I mean, it's really just a surreal feeling. I mean, hard to even explain. I never saw this coming. So just really special.
Donna, I don't see on my screen, but I see your hands up.
Jimmy, I'm curious about how much of a relief it is to finally have the news out there and to finally have people stop asking you if you're going to be transferring to Syracuse.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's definitely a relief to just get it done with. I mean, all I want to do is play. I mean, that's it. I just want to hoop. I'm glad to have the decision out there. I mean, it's been awesome hearing from all the fans. I mean, best fans in the country. I've just been smiling these last 3 hours, reading, what people are saying, how excited they are as well. I mean, how welcoming they've been. I mean, it's really just special. It makes me even that much more excited to get out there and do whatever I can to help this team win.
Thank you.
John Kikis, I see you over there.
Jimmy, when exactly did you make the decision?
I mean, it wasn't made until recently. Had an idea it was, maybe a possibility, given the new transfer rules, but, until the last few weeks, I wasn't sure. Had to wait and see, who would leave and make sure it was, the right decision. I mean, I wasn't gonna come if we had, 5 or 6 forwards, and, it just wasn't a good situation. But I mean, just the way the new transfer rule is and the way things played out, ended up being a good fit, and, made that, decision, not too long ago, a couple weeks.
I'm going in order of the people on my screen here, guys, so I'm not trying to play favorites. Nico.
Thanks, Jeremy. Congrats again, Jimmy. And, it's one of those things, we've seen the pictures and your mom shared them before too, with you and Buddy playing growing up. And that's the thing, when you were kids, you probably dreamt about this moment. Now it's about to be real. And I know that all of this is, like you said, surreal and a dream come true, but that specific aspect, now playing with your brother for a national championship, what does that all mean to you?
Yeah, it means a lot. Playing with Buddy, playing for my dad, playing for the hometown, I love Syracuse, everything about it. So, I mean, all that's just, really special. I think I'm a little different from Buddy in that, he always knew he wanted to come to Syracuse. He knew that was his dream, his one and only thing. I mean, for me, it was always kind of like, I dreamt of getting like an Ivy League degree and playing the Ivy League. I mean, so I guess for me, it kind of happened more recently than him, but, nonetheless, I mean, it's a dream come true. I mean, it's always been in the back of my mind. I mean, it's my childhood, really, just growing up in the Dome. I said on my post, Syracuse made me fall in love with the game, watching generations of players. It's just really special. And yeah, the family aspect, of course, I'm close with everyone else on the team, as well, just from playing in the summers at the Mello Center. Samir, another Syracuse guy, the whole staff, I mean, gotten really close over the years. So yeah, I mean, just really special, really excited. And the fans, of course, too. Can't wait to play in front of them. I felt their love the last 3 years playing at the Dome, starting lineups, cheering for me, and, all that stuff. So it'll be cool to be on the other side, but, I've always felt their love, and, it's just gonna be really special.
Thanks, Jimmy. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Question for Mark.
Hey, Jimmy, guess you don't need to get another flag, so keep that one up behind it. I was curious if this opportunity was presented to you coming out of prep school as well to play for your dad, and how hard he or your brother or your mom came after you then versus now.
Yeah, then it really wasn't much of an option. I think they had a lot of guys, and I wasn't the player I am right now. So it really wasn't much of a thought process. It was kind of just where can I sneak into a program? And, thankfully Cornell called. I mean, my only offer at the time, I called my dad. I remember the day Coach Earl called me and offered me, and I was like, yeah, like Cornell just offered me, like excited, and he goes, call him back right now and take it. Like, this stuff is crazy. You never know what's going to happen with recruiting, call him back and right now and take it. And, I did. And, I guess that's a good segue. I mean, I just, have to thank Cornell and Coach Earl and the whole staff, strength trainers, athletic trainers. I mean, I'm not here without Cornell. I know that, just giving me an opportunity and playing me through so many mistakes. I mean, my freshman year was a train wreck, more or less. I mean, what didn't go the way I wanted to. Played through a lot of mistakes, and Coach Earl and the staff, just continue to believe in me. They saw some good moments here and there, with a lot of not great moments mixed in, and they continue to just play me and believe in me and work with me. And sophomore year kind of made a jump, and then junior year made another jump, and now I just feel like I'm ready for this.
Just a quick follow-up. Who recruited you hardest this time around? Was it your mom, your dad, or your brother?
That's a good question. I'd probably say my mom. Yeah, probably my mom, and then my dad mixed in, of course, and buddy. I mean, everyone's had their hand in it. Kind of like a family affair, I guess you could say.
Welcome home. Thanks, bud.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Mike Waters, how you doing?
Good, Jeremy. Thanks. Jimmy, I was wondering what kind of conversations you've had with your father about the role you might have on next year's team.
Yeah. I think like Coach Earl had kind of touched on, I'm pretty versatile. Play inside, play outside, play at the high post, can pass. I mean, that losing Marek, obviously, just great player for 4 years, did so much for the team. I feel like I can kind of, try to do some things maybe he did. He was a great passer. Playing with Buddy and Joe and Cole and other shooters, I mean, will be a lot of fun. They'll create space. I think I can, I think I can make plays happen. Hopefully, I'm going to make shots. So yeah, I think just coming in with like a really versatile role, being able to do a little everything, playing inside, playing outside, rebounding, passing, shooting, driving. Yeah, just trying to make things happen, really. Whatever they need me to do at the end of the day, to help them win, I'm ready to do.
Steven, got another question?
Yeah, Mike kind of took mine, but I think, when I look at the roster for next year, I feel like the backcourt's kind of like a known entity, right? With Samir coming in being that third guy and Buddy and Joe back. And then right now the front court is 3 guys who weren't here last year. Like, when you look at that forward group, how do you kind of visualize it working out? And yeah, I mean, how excited are you to, I guess, play with guys like Benny and Cole?
Yeah, really excited for sure. Obviously Cole is just, the definition of a driller. Guy makes shots. That's what he's going to do. Benny will come in, and I'm really excited to see him play. I know he's a special talent, coming out of high school, and I think he'll definitely be able to help us. And then hopefully Quincy comes back too, because he adds another element. So yeah, I mean, just really excited to work with that group of guys. I think we have a really good forward group, really good team, a lot of good guards, and good centers coming back too. So really excited for the way this team's shaping out, and really excited to see what we can do.
Mario.
Jimmy, who all reached out to you along this process of deciding where you want to go, and why not there, and why SU ultimately, obviously to play for your dad, but was it a difficult decision? Some other schools that reached out to you?
Yeah, I heard from a good amount of schools, probably around 15 or 20. I think maybe some schools might have, assumed coming to Syracuse. I don't know how that factor played out, but I heard from schools: Oregon State, Georgia Tech, Arkansas reached out earlier in the year. I'm trying to think. BC, Notre Dame called my dad. I don't know, a bunch of other schools. But at the end of the day, I think I always knew if Syracuse was an option come decision time, and it was a good option for me. In terms of how the lineup was looking and stuff like that, I was going to come home. Just kind of no brainer, I guess, for me, being able to come home, like I said, play for my dad, play with Buddy, and all the other great guys on that team, for these fans, for the city, that, has been my whole life, more or less up to this point. So yeah, pretty much a no brainer once it was a possibility.
Make sure when he refs you guys this time, he doesn't get you guys don't cause any harm. All right, on the board.
All right, I will.
Nico.
Yeah, thank you. And then you've touched on a little bit of this earlier, but I mean, if you put, I know, still some ways to go here, but if you put in perspective just how, you had the lowest of lows with the season being canceled at Cornell, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like this new high of this new dream and whatever might happen next year. If you put in perspective that kind of roller coaster of emotions and how that all played out.
Yeah, obviously, well, disappointed with the season being canceled, but it is what it is. Worst things going on right now. It was a good opportunity for me to, just work really hard all year and, improve on some things that, I felt like I needed to work on a little bit. And I think I've gotten a lot better during this time. Wasn't the worst thing in the world. I obviously wanted to finish out with this program. I think we had a chance to have a really good team this year. I guess my ideal scenario would have been to play this year at Cornell and then still get the extra year. But it is what it is, and it wasn't too bad. I wasn't too down in the dumps. I just kind of just said, it is what it is. Everything happens for a reason. Use this as a good opportunity to keep working. And, now, with this decision, it kind of validates all that work I've been doing, I feel like, and, makes me that much more excited. I know I'm just going to trust all the work I've put in and, excited for next year.
John Kikas.
Jimmy, just curious, what was it like watching the tournament with your mom, and did that factor into your decision?
It was really special. The Syracuse fan in me always comes out that time of year. Just like I was 8 years old screaming at the TV. Same type of thing. In watching Buddy, all the hard work pay off kind of in those moments was really special. And what the other guys did on the team. They made a really good run, won a couple of really good games, ran into a tough Houston team, obviously, but it was really fun to watch the run and watch the whole tournament. I feel like I studied the game a little more, watching it, not just watching from fans' perspective, but trying to pick up things like maybe seeing a couple moves some guys did, and then going in the gym and working on it myself, seeing if I could add them to my game. So yeah, I just really enjoyed watching that.
Thanks.
Yep.
Steven.
These guys keep taking my questions. In kind of the context of that, what are you going to remember about Buddy's March? And then was there a special moment telling him that you were coming to play with him next year?
In terms of his March, what really sticks out to me is, his resilience through all this, never got down throughout his whole career. Despite, what people were saying about him, his slumps, whatever it was. And this year, especially, he had a really tough go with COVID, getting contact trace, missed a lot of days with it, but, his resiliency and his, just seeing him continue to work through those tough times during the season, and just knowing he'd, break through at some point. He broke through in the biggest moments on the biggest stage. So, I just really enjoyed seeing him get, the love and credit he deserves. That's the player I know he is. I can't wait to play alongside him next year and see what he does next year. Sky's the limit. So yeah. What was the other part? Sorry.
Any cool moment just telling him that you were coming?
His tweet today was pretty cool to see. I don't know if there was a specific moment between us, like when I told him. I think he kind of just found out over time. But seeing his tweet, all those old photos of us, and just how it's come full circle, pretty crazy, pretty cool to see.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mark, yeah, hand up again.
Yeah, it just occurred to me that we had a Jim Boeheim play for Syracuse at war number 35 way back when. Any chance Buddy's going to give you that number?
Nah, I make fun of them once in a while. I don't really like the look of it. I don't know.
What number are you going to take, you know?
I'm gonna wear 2 next year. I've kind of picked a different number each year. I don't really have much of a reason behind it, to be honest with you. Thought it might look cool. I don't know. So we're gonna try 2 out next year. Obviously I was 3 at Cornell. Too much respect for Jerry to even try to wear that. I mean, he's one of the all-time greats, and I wouldn't even want to try to wear that. So yeah, we're gonna try 2.
What don't you like about 35?
I don't know. I think it's just, I don't know.
Looks like
It's
a
more of
football
just a
running
joke.
back.
It's more of just a joke, I guess. Yeah.
Thanks, Jim.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there aren't any other hands up, but I'll wait another minute before we cut this off. But otherwise, I put my contact information in the chat in case you guys are looking for B-roll or pictures of stuff. So I don't see anything else for now.
Thanks, Jeremy, for setting this up. Jimmy, good
No.
seeing you, man. So
No, I appreciate you guys. I appreciate
guys.
you for being here. So,
Yeah.
hey, before everyone goes, I just want to publicly thank Jimmy. He's been amazing over the last 4 years, and I'm really excited that he's going to get this opportunity. I wish he'd gotten one more year with us because I think we would have saw a lot of milestones fall over the last year. But thank you for everything you've done. We're going to be his biggest fans, except for one game next year. Please, if there's any way that I can help you guys, assist you in coverage or with Cornell Athletics, please let me know. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend, and I look forward to seeing you guys in person soon.
Thanks. Congrats, Jimmy. Awesome.
Thanks, Jimmy. Thanks,
Thank
Jeremy.
you, guys.
Jeremy,
Yeah,
thanks, Jimmy.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah, thanks, Jeremy. I appreciate it.
We'll talk soon.
Yep, sounds good.